Okay.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I just want to say a big apology for the late start. We are ready to go now. We want to thank you for coming. We want to thank you for joining us again for the second night of the healthy cooking classes, with Kathleen'z healthy plant-based cooking classes. Um, Here's what I want to do. Last week, what we did is we said that if it was your first night, then we wanted you to put a number one in the chat, and if it was your second night, we wanted you to put a number two in the chat. Here's what I want you to do this week. If you're returning from last week, so you were with us last week with James Luke and Dr. Natalie Nash, I want you to put a number three in the chat. If you're returning from last week, I want you to put a number three in the chat. If this is the second night that you're here, I know it's kind of a little bit jumbled up, but if you were here last night, then I want you to put a number two. And if this is your first night ever to the healthy communities, the master plan for healthy communities, I want you to put a number one in the chat. So let me say that again. If this is your very first night for the master plan for healthy communities, I want you to put a number one in the chat. If you're returning from yesterday only, then I want you to put a number two in the chat. But if you are coming from last week, if you were with us last week for COVID-19 and the power of lifestyle, then I want you to put a number three in the chat. Excellent. I can see some number threes. I can see number ones. I saw a couple of number twos. Whether you're one, two, or three, I just want to say a massive thank you for choosing to be with us tonight. Last week, I shared with the people that were on the call that if you give us an hour and a half of your time, we will change your life. The information that you receive will change your life. And at the end of last week, we asked the question, were your lives changed? And unanimously, people said that their lives were changed. So we want to promise you that same thing again. If you give us an hour and a half of your life tonight, which you have done because you've chosen to be here, then we will change your life. You're going to get some beautiful plant-based recipes. Now, I wish you were where I am, because as soon as we came into to set up, I started smelling some healthy sweet treats. And for those that don't live in Manchester, I'm really sorry. For those that do live in Manchester, we were having an idea about how we could engage you more. How could you get to taste some of the things that you're seeing being cooked? But we're still working that out. But if you live in Manchester, then you've got an opportunity to possibly taste some of the things that you see Kathleen cooking. So before I hand over to Kathleen for tonight, what I want to say is, please do, if you have questions, if you have comments, then put them into the chat. Put them into the chat. Don't unmute yourself and just ask your question. Put them into the chat. I'm monitoring the chat. So I will pick up your questions and I will ask Kathleen, just so that we can keep the stream nice and interference free. So before I hand over to Kathleen, let me say a word of prayer and then we'll move on. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we want to thank you so much for what you're doing through these seminars that we're hearing and we're joining. We want to thank you for what we heard last week, and this week is about putting into practice the things that we learned. How do we use the food that you have given to us? How do we use the food in its natural state to create beautiful, tasty, nutritious meals? And Father, I want to thank you for Kathleen for giving up her time and her experience to show us how to do that. Bless all those that are listening to this call, and I pray, Lord, that at the end of this hour and a half, that we will have more recipes to make our bodies nutritious. Because, Lord, we eat for strength, not just for taste. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Kathleen, it's all with you.
Good evening, everyone, and nice to see you again. I think there were some returners and some new ones. So, oh, sorry, excuse me. That was, oh, it won't go off. There we go. That's one rule. When you're performing live, turn off your phone or put it on mute. So, thank you. I think somebody's wishing me well. So, thanks for coming back. And today, again, we're going to have some exciting recipes for you to try at home. And share with family, friends, and family, friends, and neighbours. Just share the good news of good cooking and healthy cooking in the main. So tonight I'm going to do some recipes. Again, as last night, we did breakfast, lunch and dinner. But tonight, because we did 2 dinners, we didn't do any desserts. So I'm going to give you some healthier options for desserts so that you can share them. Some you can have for breakfast. One of them is an apple crisp. Another one, I think, one in the chat, somebody requested a cake with carob. Listened to that one, and I've actually looked at one of the things I've done before, and there's a healthier option for carob cake rather than having chocolate. So, without further ado, I'll do the breakfast meal. So, and that's a no-oil granola. We like breakfast, we like granola, or I think muesli some people call it, but we're going to do a whistle-stop tour to do a no-oil granola, because I think sometimes when you look at some of the recipes or the ingredients in some of the granolas that are on the shelves, there is a lot of fat, there's a lot of sugar, and also other preservatives as well. So I'm going to show you a quick, easy one, simple ingredients that you can get anywhere, most supermarkets or convenience stores. So let's do that without further ado. So my first one is rolled oats. I've got the old-fashioned ones because they're the larger ones. So we wanted some larger ones for today. We know full of fibre, and it helps to clean the gut as we eat and eat our food throughout the day. So healthy fibre, and they're filling, because once we eat the oats, they tend to swell in our stomachs or as it digests, and then it also helps to keep us fuller for longer, and also in that action it's cleaning the gut as it goes through to be digested. So they're a bit larger than normal. I don't know if you can see that. Just a bit larger than normal, but that's fine because we're going to incorporate them with a bit of liquid, and then we're going to see how that turns out. So that's that one. Then we have some quick oats, which is slightly smaller. And again, they're going to be mixed in with the larger oats. So I've got 4 cups because I thought we need a large quantity, so you don't have to keep making it every day, because this does take an hour or so to bake in the oven. So rather than doing lots, it depends on your family and your needs. So it stores well in a jar, glass jar with a airtight lid, so that's fine. So that's the large oats, 4 cups, 1 cup of the quick oats in the bowl. Can you see? Let me move that out of the way. Then we have, very quickly, is some flaked almonds. Again, 1 cup of flaked almonds. This I bought at the local convenience store, which was, I think it was Tesco's, this one. Just flaked almonds, that goes in as well. And then some desiccated coconut. Now try to get the desiccated coconut that hasn't been sweetened, because we're adding our own sweetener in this, and a healthier option for sweetening. So desiccated coconut for that one, and that goes in the bowl as we've done before. And I'll mix them in a short while so they can incorporate it. There we go. So the next one, so that's the dry ingredient. I'm going to just mix it. Let me get my spoon. And all it is just incorporating it all together, so that when we do add the liquid to make it come together in little clusters, we have a really well mixed mixture. There we go. And then the other thing we need to add is ½ teaspoon of salt for the quantity we've got here. Okay. You can have less if you like, but it does absorb a little bit. So that's that. Mix. Now that's the basic mixture. You can add more things, which I'm going to do now, so to help it with natural sweeteners and more nutrition. So for that, I'm going to add some mulberries. Now they're like little raspberries, but they're not the same colour. They're actually kind of whitey brown, yeah, beige colour. So they're really nutritious, lots of fibre in them, lots of natural sugars, and all your minerals and some vitamins as well. So it's just like a raspberry, but a white version. This is the dried version of mulberries. Now, if you can't get these, just get your trusted, can get cranberries if you want to add their sweet and sour. Put them in, or you can have dates. You can chop them and add them in. But basically, if you wanted prunes, you can add them dried ones and just add them in. So I'm going to just add as much as you want. There's no specific recipe for this one in terms of how much of the added ingredients, that the sweetness you want to add. They do stick together, some of the mulberries, so just loosen them so they're not stuck together, so they get well incorporated. So I'm going to just put a few in. I'm going to put some cranberries in. Try not to get the sweetened cranberries as well, or if they are sweetened with a natural juice. So that's that one. There we go. So just mix them in. There we go. If you wanted to, you could add some flaked coconut as well. So you've got the different look and different textures. So we can add some of these. Just put a few bits in. So as much as you like, because I mean, some people like different amounts. You've got obviously dried mango or pineapple. Those can go in as well if you would like that in your muesli. So mixture. So it's all mixed in together. So now that that's mixed in together, I'm going to do the wet ingredients. So we are going to add some maple syrup. If you would rather honey, then you can add some honey, but I'm going to use maple syrup because it's a bit more runny consistency. And also we're going to have some water. I'll pop this in. Again, can everybody see? I've got quite a few bits here because I was looking. So let me add my water from my cups. I'm just going to add 1 cup of water. There we go. And then we're going to have some sunflower seeds, okay? So we're going to do 3/4 cups of sunflower seeds. Again, I'm just going to guesstimate in here because I know it's a cup, and I've done it before. I know how much 3/4 should look like in a cup. So roughly that much, okay? Seal this back. There we go. And then we're going to add some maple syrup. There we go. I know it's quite expensive, so I'm going to be precious with this one. So 1/2 cup. That's about right. Now, I'm not going to make it too sweet, so I'm going to rely on the fruit that's already in the mixture, and also the things that you might want to add to the mixture to make it healthy and nutritious without adding too much sweetness. Okay. So, next thing is I'm going to blend this all together. I'm going to use my trusty hand blender. There we go. Just get this here. Just mix. Make sure it doesn't splash up on you if it just... Oops, yeah, it does splash. I'm going to put it in the bowl because normally I don't think it was enough in this, but yeah, splashing, so I'll put it in the blender because I want it really well incorporated, mixed in. So let me just wipe that. Look, don't get too messy. Oh, what fruits? Okay. Mulberry. Then we have cranberries. And I didn't add the dates because I think I've got enough sweetness in there already. Yeah, but you can put chopped dates in there as well. There we go. So let's pour it smooth. So we're going to use my blender instead. You could do this in a jug, I guess, if you didn't have a blender. At least it's not a wide mouth container. So a jug would do. To put your hand blender in and mix. There we go. Right, let's try not to spill it again. I've got my lid on, so that's good. Plug it in. There we go. And pulse away. Excuse me while this makes a little bit of noise. I'm just going to scrape some of the sunflower seeds that have clung to the glass jar. Just put them down. This should get a little bit thicker, this mixture. It gets a bit more creamier. I'm going to put a bit more in because we lost some in the first batch of blending. So I'm going to put a little bit. Yes, I can do. In the whole mixture? Yeah, I can do. So we have oats, old-fashioned oats. They're a bit bigger than normal, so we've gone for the old-fashioned oats. Then we had the smaller oats, the fast cooking oats, so they're a bit smaller, another cup of that. So 4 cups of the big oats, 1 cup of the smaller oats. Then we added some sunflower seeds, which are here. Oh no, we didn't add it yet. So we added the coconut, flaked coconut, flaked almonds, and desiccated coconut. Yeah. There we go. Now, we're in the middle of adding some more, just a handful, just to get it creamier. There we go. Then pop this back on. Mix it down again. Some of them have clung. It's getting a little bit creamier, but it's not as smooth as I want it to be, so just a bit more blending, and then we'll see. There we go. that's enough. Yeah, that looks better. Some little bits on the jar, I just want to mix them in. So just do a 1 more minute blend. That should be it. And then it is. I don't know if you can see this, but it's a little bit creamier than before when it went in. Yeah, so it's nice and creamy. Now at this point you can add some vanilla if you'd like to. Extract if you want to, but I don't mind it like this because I think I've got enough flavours in there, but it's an optional option. Okay, so that's blended done. Let's move this out of the way. We can... Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can either add them before, but sometimes it's depending because it takes about an hour to cook. So sometimes they get a bit brown, but that's fine. Or you can add them when you're actually eating them. I prefer it that way, just in case. But there's lots of granola recipes out there. This is just one that doesn't use oil to incorporate it. So you could add your own and then just use the mixture to combine rather than adding oil and then sugar and other things that other recipes suggest. So yeah, you can do. Okay. Now move these out of the way. So what happens now is I'm going to pour this into the mixture. Move these out of the way. And then you can see me pouring it in. And mix it together. There we are. We're going to get there. It goes there as well. On the sunflower seeds are flying. That's in the way. There we go. That's it. So now we just need to mix this in. Okay, now I'm going to split it because there's too much in this bowl to kind of mix everything. So I'm going to split it between 2 bowls, and then I've got more room to mix. So do half and half. Now I might not need all of it, but it does say to mix it by hand, so you get it really well combined. So I'm going to put some gloves on at this stage, and then so half and half, just split the mixture. Again, you can make more if you'd like to, because obviously depending on the size of your family. So just want to preserve my hands from getting a bit mucky. My gloves will get mucky, I know, but that's fine. Just saves time washing my hands. They were already a bit sticky before. Right, so I'm just going to put some in here and judge it. Half the mixture roughly in there. So you just want enough for it to be combined together, so just and coat everything well. You don't want it too soggy, but you just want everything to have a coating of the sunflower seed mixture. You can taste it yourself and see how, but the aim is not to have it too sweet, because you're going to add other things that will sweeten it when you're actually eating it. And I think as it bakes, it concentrates the sweetness, and really our taste buds are accustomed to sweetness, so we really need to reduce the amount of sugar that we actually consume and just educate our taste buds a little bit more to expect less sugar and foods that taste natural, rather than coating them with lots and lots of sugar and salt, which is another of some of our weakness, some people's weaknesses. So that's that one. So you can see it's all combined together. I'd have that a little bit more drier. Now some people do cook their oats beforehand, so you can cook your oats in the oven on a very low heat for a few hours, and then that helps the body to digest it easier as well. So that is, I know some people do that. So cook your oats in an oven on the lowest heat possible. Just turn the oven on the lowest heat and cook it for a good few hours. Right. I'm going to put a bit more in there because I don't want the big clusters. There we go. Can I just have a baking sheet from the oven, please? So just get a bit more incorporated. It pays well to take time at this stage. There we go. Not too bad there.
Just 1 minute, Kathleen.
Yes.
So I'm seeing in the chat that there is an echo.
Cold one.
Is that happening for everyone?
Say that again.
No, not you. I'm talking to. Okay, I can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
No. I can hear you, Kathleen. No, I'm talking to the people that are on the stream. Can you? Are you getting an echo?
Yes, I can hear the echo.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just bear with me a second. We're just trying to sort this out. I'm going to turn off this mic that I'm speaking to, and then I'll ask you again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now. I couldn't hear you before.
Oh, really?
Is there any way? No, we could always hear you. Just an echo.
Is it any way they
Can you
tilt
hear an
the
echo
camera
when I'm
so that we can
speaking?
see the...
Yes, it comes before you speak. It sort of comes in before you speak.
Can you hear an
There's
echo?
no echo
Someone's
now.
speaking.
Yes.
No echo now. There's no echo now for me.
Thank you.
No more echo for me either.
Is there any way they can tilt the camera so that we can see the table? Right now we see the gloves, but not anything that you're
Which
doing.
way? Okay, we'll just pop it on there now.
Thank you. And can you repeat the ingredients, because the sound was not good then, so we're not sure everything.
So repeat
you.
the ingredients.
Yes.
Right, okay. I'll just get them. So I'll just describe what's in the bowl. So we have old-fashioned oats. They're the larger, chunkier ones. You can use jumbo ones if you'd like. And I did say you could actually bake them before on a very low heat in the oven before you actually put them into this mixture. And then we have the fast oats, the quick oats in there as well. Then we have flaked almonds. Then we have, I put cranberries in this one. And mulberries in this one, little like raspberries, beige raspberries. Then there's some salt and desiccated coconut. So basically you can add other fruits like dates if you'd like, or you could add, you know, the mango sometimes, and some people have banana in there. So generally it's what you like to add to your granola. Yeah. Sometimes what I've done in the past is looked at what's in the store, the shop bought one, and then, right, I can do that myself and add more ones that I like. So the world's your oyster with what they want to put in. Sometimes I think they add flaxseed and chia seed as well. So that's an option. So it's kind of loosely combined with the sunflower seed mixture. And now I'm going to spread it on a baking tray and spread it thinly, because this will now go into the oven and bake for 1 to 2 hours. You turn it every 20 minutes just to make sure all of the moisture is being absorbed and dried up with the heat and the baking. So a low heat, no more than 150 Celsius for those who do Celsius. And just make sure it's spread thinly. Don't want lots of clumps. And you can you just turn it in every 20 minutes just to get everything dried out. Yeah. So we're going to pop that in the oven. And it might do before we finish, it might not. But as usual, here's one I've made earlier. So I'll show you that now. So I'm going to just pop this. That's going to be popped into the oven by my trusty. Oh, Angelica's here again, by the way, folks. Thank you. So are these in the way? I don't want them to be in the way. There we go. So this is the finished item. There we go. You can see it's nice and dry. I don't know if you can hear the crispness of that. There's no residue on my hands. And I didn't put the other fruits in because I was going to have it with yogurt that we had yesterday. The plain if you want, and some fruit. If you wanted to add the muesli, have it with yogurt, you could either leave it and then let it soak, or you could have it straight away. So selection of fruit on top, or you can actually have it with warmed milk. But just as you would normally have in a muesli, you can replicate it with your own muesli or granola, as it were. So any questions about that? Is that okay? And they're quite crunchy. I don't want to eat one now, but you'll hear it be crunching throughout the evening. But yeah, 1 to 2 hours. Just see when it gets crispy. You know what granola looks like in the on this when you've had it yourselves. But it's about the same texture in terms of its dryness. Okay. So let me pop that away, and we'll have it later. But yeah, remember, not too much sugar in the in what you're doing. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give this to my trusty assistant. Thank you. And the bowls. I'll give you the bowls because we need the bowls back as soon as. Yeah. Bowls. Okay. So here we go for the next recipe. I'm going to sweep this up a bit. Here we go. So we don't have too much mess on the table with my granola. 1 second. There we are. There we go. Thank you. And now, so once we've got the bowl. Yeah. Okay. Let me just give it a blender. So we've got rid of all the dirty things. There we go. There we are. Something's just spilled. We just need to wipe it off. Live TV. There we go. Yeah, and health and safety. I've just been reminded. So that's fine. So I've kept my hands nice and sticky-less. So the next thing I'm going to do is my quiche, cashew quiche, which is one of the family favourites again. It's not hard. It's very simple to do. A few ingredients and then we're good to go.
Sun's gone again.
So the first thing I'm going to do is make the pastry, but I've just got to get that from the fridge because Angelica's busy washing. So just bear with me 1 minute.
Andre, we can only see from the waist down.
The finished article.
The
But here's
waist
the
up.
start of it, okay? once again. You can buy shop bought pastry, but again, it tends to have a lot of fat, a lot of preservatives, a lot of things that we would want to not use for ourselves. And so I've made my own here, and I'll show you what it looks like in a little while. There we go. Get it out. I don't want my hands to get dirty because I have to wash them again. So that's what it looks like. We'll show you in a minute when we get to the proper camera. But yeah, again, what I've done is, again, good old-fashioned oats. I've not used the conventional white flour. I've had a combination of oats with, I thought, I like experimenting with flours, so I've got Spelt Flour. You can get this anywhere, usually quite readily now. It's become a bit more popular. Again, it's got less gluten, and some people can tolerate, some people are gluten intolerant or a little bit struggle with digesting gluten. This has got less gluten than the normal white flour. You can use the gluten-free flour, that's fine. I think it just comes out less moist. I think it gets a bit hard and a bit crusty, but then that's fine. Some people like that texture in their pastries, so that's fine. Then something that can make it a little bit softer is Lepisin. Now, this can reduce cholesterol. It's well used, so let me just show you what it looks like. Any good health store will have this on their shelves, and it's just like little granules, if you can see. I don't know if you can see in the camera. It's very, very like, almost like pellets. Can you see that? Yeah? So you can sprinkle this on your porridges, on your cereal, just like this, and then it just helps to reduce cholesterol. But I'm going to add it in the pastry because when we add it to this pastry, it makes it a bit more moist, because I'm not using conventional flour. So I'm just going to get my bowls behind you. Thank you. Pop that there because we'll be needing that in a short while. Just dry these out because we don't want the pastry to get too wet. Right, so
Good to go.
Right, so what I've done is I've got a cup again of the, oops, can't open it now, of the spelt flour. You can see it's not white, it's a little bit lighter than dark, but not as white. You can see the flecks of grain in there, so it's whole grain rather than the grain being stripped away. So a cup in the bowl. Then we have the oats. What I'm going to do with this oats, I'm going to grind into oat flour. So rather than having to buy oat flour, I'm going to make my own. So it really is easy to do. You just grind it in your grinder. You pop it on again. There we go. So again, a cup, and it's ground. There we go. Pop the lid on, we're good to go. And there we are. Just do a bit more. There. You can do it longer and have it finer, but that's fine. I think that's more than a cup, because I think when you grind it, it just has more volume. So pop that in there. So we've got the oats and the spelt flour. You could use whole wheat flour if you'd like, but I thought we'd give some of the people who have a gluten intolerant a little bit of a treat as well. Also, I've made this with teff flour. That's a gluten-free flour, one of the ancient grains, but that's a little bit more expensive, and I think there are some on the supermarket shelves. I've seen it at Sainsbury's, Tesco, but it is an expensive, and I mean a little one, a little container with probably 100 grams was like £3. So I thought that's not something that I can sustain for the family. So it's going to be this is the next step down. So, and it's just as, it's good and healthy as well. So pop that there. So what we do now, we put the lecithin. The lecithin is 1 tablespoon to the 1 cup of oat flour, 1 cup of spelt flour. Pop it in there. And then we have some olive oil, half a cup in there. And I'm going to mix it with some water. I'm going to just tip it back. That's a cup of water, but I just don't want as much. Mind you, I can put it in and see. So you pop it in. And I'm going to, oh, we forgot the salt. Just a little bit of salt, 1/4 teaspoon. That's it. So I'm going to just emulsify, which is shake it all about so it's all together. It's a posh word for making sure everything's mixed in equally. And I'm going to give it a shake. So everything's in together. Yeah, so you don't have separate bits of oil floating and water. Okay, shake it a bit more. And then we're good to go. But before we do that, I'm going to make sure this is well combined. The salt, the flours, the oat flour and the spelt flour and the lecithin. The lecithin, I think this is about £4 or £5, sorry, from your health stores. You can get other brands. This is just one that I've readily available at some of the stores, and I have actually seen it in supermarkets as well. I think it's just where you go. As I said last night, it was basically a lot of people are jumping on the plant-based diet train and running with it. Okay, so that's there. So I'm just going to add enough liquid to make it come together. So I might not need all of this. So just go easy as you pour it in and mix, because you just want it to mix together so you can actually roll it out. Now if it gets too soft, you can roll it between 2 layers of wax paper, and then it won't be, you can easily manage it then. And then then you can just chill it a little bit as well. So just add a bit more. Just keep adding until it comes together and it's not too wet. Then at some point you have to add, put your hand in the mix and just get a feel for it. Yeah, a bit more. You can take a bit more, just a tip more. Sometimes I do make it a bit wetter and put it between the sheets, but this time I'm just going to add it to make it combine. So let's have a look at that. Should be fine. Don't want that to spill. Let me just make sure. Bring it together with your hand. I could do a bit more, sorry. There we go. So it's all come together in a nice, formed a nice dough. So what we're going to do is, now I would put that in the fridge, let it chill for 15-20 minutes, which I did before. So I'm going to show you now the one that I did before. Let me move these out of the way. There we go. Take that off. Thank you. I'll just leave that then, it's okay. Right, so now Well, that went into the Lepisin. So now we're going to come to rolling it out. Now I've touched the plug and I've touched some other things, so I'm going to put my gloves on to roll it out. And get my dish. Now I'm just going to do a small one. I have done one earlier so you can see the bigger version. So let me just get this out of the way, this mug. So there we go, nice and chilled. So is it not to stick? I'm just going to put a little bit on the board just to roll it out on there and get it to the size that I want it to be. If it's not playing with you, then sometimes what I do is I take the bits of the pastry out and then I push it in and work my way around the dish, so it doesn't matter really if it breaks up. I mean, this is going to be a lot for what I want anyway. But always roll away from yourself, or roll to. Don't turn your rolling pin. What you do is you turn your pastry. Okay. Okay, that's moving nicely. There we go. Now, I don't want it too thin because I've got lots here, so I'm going to take some away and roll it thinly. So it doesn't need to be thick because I've only got a little dish, as you can see. See, I don't want it to stick. Put a little bit more flour on the bottom because it's sticking there. Coat it all. And coat my rolling pin as well. There we go. So you roll it out to about, you know, a 1/4 inch thick. Doesn't need to be, or a couple of centimetres thick, so that should be fine. Put it on there and then pop it in your dish. Move it up a little bit. There we go. And fit it in nicely. There we go. Just cut the edges off. Usually it's this way. If you do it the chef way, you cut outwards with the back of the knife. And it comes up a nice sharp edge. Whoops. Oops. And then this bit gets cut here. There we go. And then you can crimp the edges if you like to make it look pretty. So I'm going to take my, I'll see if I can do it with my glove on. So what I do is I just have my finger, my thumb and my index finger, and then I push the index finger from the other hand in between the pastry. So it gives a nice crimping edge and squeeze. The other way you could do it is just use a fork and put the prongs of the fork at the edge and press down. So this way you get a nice curled edge, crinkly edge rather, and then it's done. There we go. Now I would prick this with a fork or a knife, ideally a fork, and then bake it blind. So put it in the oven, put some baking beans on top of a greaseproof paper and pop it in the oven on a low heat, maybe 160 for about 9 minutes or so. But I'm not going to do that tonight, but in the recipe when you get it, it will tell you to bake it blind for just 5-10 minutes. That's max. But in the instance of time, because I'm mindful I want to do another recipe, I'm not going to do that. But ideally, that's what it is. Sometimes it does flop in the oven, so don't worry about that. It looks nice before it goes in, so that's fine. So that's the base. And the next thing I'm going to do is the filling, which is, I'll use this bowl, the cashew, just move this out of the way, Billy. So, which I have here. To show you, I'll just get rid of some of this. Right, I think I've got rid of most of it. Put that there. Fine. So what I have here is some raw cashews. There we are. Again, I'm just going to guesstimate this, but in the recipe you'll have it. And then what I've done is I've soaked them a little bit or washed them. You almost always wash your nuts, ideally cashew, because they're quite dirty when they come out of the bag. So make sure you wash it. So I've just washed them, put them there. It's about a cup and a bit. Then we're going to add, let me just pop it straight into the blender because I'm mindful of the time. Whoops, there goes my oats. There we go. Take this out of the way. Whoops. So pop my yeah. So pop my cashews in here that have been washed. That's why they're a bit bulky. There we go. Then I'm going to add some seasonings, which is, I showed you yesterday, the yeast flakes gives a cheesy flavour to the mixture. So again, it's for your taste, you taste and see. So I'm just going to put maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons in there. Then I'm going to put some bouillon, which is another stock powder. These are readily available on the shelves. Again, you can get the smaller packs. Because I do a lot of cooking, I just get the bigger one. But you can use any stock that you prefer. But again, watch for MSG. Again, just a little bit of this one, less, maybe a tablespoon and a half. Then I'm just going to add water. Just check, yeah, water. Just to go over the top. We don't want too much because we want it to be creamy. So let's have a look, see what that does. I want it to have a creamy mixture. And I'll tell you about these shortly. So that's in there. Press down. Here we go. Oh, guess what? I've not plugged it in. So that's not, we're not going to get far with that. It's not plugged in. There we go. So, holding that down. I'm going to brush some of the mixture down. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, you can try it with pecan. That's fine. Just experiment generally, because what we want is the nuts to combine and make a nice creamy mixture. So most nuts will do that, but I think cashew is particularly good at doing that. So you can do almonds. So just generally experiment with the nuts. But yeah, most nuts would do that. So do exactly the same. This one. Push it down again so it's all nicely mixed in. Push that down, pop that on top. Right, let's go. Let's whiz away. It's hard to come off when it's ready. Yeah. Right, just a bit more, and then I think we're all blended in nicely. There we go. go. Right, so now, as you can see, it's nicely blended in. I'm going to show you with my fork. See, nice and creamy, a nice thick double cream pouring consistency. So I'm going to, you can taste it at your leisure, I think, when you do it, but I'm not going to taste it for now. Sometimes when I'm cooking, I don't tend to taste tutus. But yeah, so that's, put that to the side just for a second while we do the filling.
What was in the blender again, other than cashews?
Oh, water and the bouillon, the stock cube, and the yeast flakes. So that was it. Some people put onion powder, garlic powder. You can put turmeric in there to give it a bit more colouring. I'm not sure. A little bit of salt to taste. And you can put herbs in there as well. So I've got some here. So sometimes people put a bit more turmeric in just to give it a little bit of a colour, which I've got in the one that I did earlier. And just thyme, sage, or Italian herbs is one of my favourites as well. So you can pop it in there after you've blended, or you can pop it in there before you blend. Either way, it's to your taste. Really get it to your taste, and then you'll see. So just hang fire with that. So again, I would normally have baked this blind for 10 minutes just to get it nice and firm so the base of the pastry doesn't become soggy. But because of time, I'm going to just pop it in here now. So that's fine. So in here, I've prepared some mixed vegetables. And guess what? I cheated. I got this brand, or any brand will do, because again, they say when it's picked and packed, it is really a quick process before it's frozen. So it holds a lot of the nutrients in it, rather than sometimes you're getting something fresh and it's been on the store shelves for a number of days. So frozen is a quick and easy option as well. And this has got mixed peas, beans, corn. So it's got everything in one. What I did, again, when I boiled them or steamed them, I put some chopped onions in it and chopped peppers. So they went in, steamed for a little bit. There's my onions. If you look carefully, you might be able to see some onions in there. But yeah, the onions, so that's fine. Yeah, so pop them there, or because they're going to be cooked, you can sprinkle them in if you want to put them in raw. It's up to yourselves. But I just boil them, no oil in that one as well. So I'm going to pop some in the base of the dish. That's it. So we'll give some body there. And then I'm going to pour the mixture on top. Doesn't have to be drowned in it, just a nice layer to coat the vegetables. That's it. And what happens is when the cashew cream or cashew sauce is being baked, it solidifies and you can actually slice it and cut it. So that's the finished dish, which goes in the oven. You can sprinkle a few more vegetables on top so you get a little bit of a colourful topping. That's fine if you'd like, or you can put the whole thing in, just put your sprinkle on top. That's fine as well. There you go. And that goes into the oven for maybe 30 minutes on 170, 180 degrees Celsius. And then we'll see what it looks like when it comes out, if we've got time to see it. Thank you. But here's one we did earlier. Now this one, the crust does fall in a little bit, so that's fine. But you can slice it and then see what you'd like afterwards. I put a little bit of turmeric in this one, so it's come out a little bit more yellow than that one will come out. But yeah, that's how it looks. It's quite, let me see if I can slice it, then you can see. So you can see it's firm. See if I can get a slice out with my one. There we go. Oops, I'm going to ruin the rest of it. You can see it's quite firm there. Yeah. And you can have this with a salad or with rice, quinoa, whichever, and have it for either a lunch if you want to have it with salad or an evening meal. That's fine. Looks yummy. And it looks like a quiche. You can say, yeah, that's not far off a quiche, a normal quiche. So I'm going to pop it back in its dish and then we'll see. So that's that one done. That's that dish done. There we go. Thank you. Let's clear up. Take that one. And then I'll get ready for the next one. Now, in the interest of time, I think we'll only have time for one more. So I know someone asked for a carob cake, which we have done. So we might do a whistle-stop tour through carob cake, a nice moist one, which we've done. Let's just get rid of these things first, and then I won't put the flour or the cashew in the cake, which would be not a good idea. Let's take that one. There we go. I'll take it within a minute, yeah, because I don't need it for this one. There we go. All right, thank you. Just clear up. It's been a messy night tonight. We've done a few bits that are a bit messy. Put this over here. And then we don't need these anymore because we're doing a sweet dish. There we go. Yeah. Oh, right, okay. This could be kind of considered as a brownie if you want to. But we'll look at that. But we can see. We'll have a look at that next time if that's the case. But there's lots of recipes on there. But yeah, we'll try and look into that. Yes. Yes, it will do. Yes. Yeah, I won't leave you alone with that. I won't leave you alone with that. Yes, it will do. But some of it is as the eye with the cashew cream. As long as it gets creamy and also it's to your taste, it really is the options that you choose. Then it's not going to be, it's not rocket science. What I've tried to do is make things as simple as possible. Yeah, the bowls. Yeah. Today, we've made the granola with lots of different fruit that you can pop in and bake together. We've made the cashew cream, but we've made the pastry first, which took some time, with the oat flour. And then we've also made the cashew cream. Now that's quite versatile because what I've done in the past is I've kind of made a macaroni cheese with the sauce. Also you can make, put it on pasta, whichever shape you want, and bake it, or a cauliflower cheese. So that cashew cream can be used if you steam your vegetables, if you're doing cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, make the cashew cream and pour it on top. You can incorporate a little bit and mix it in, and then pop it in the oven for 10-15 minutes just to get it brown because it's all cooked, and then serve it as a part of the evening meal. It's again another one of my favourites, and it's easy. It's so versatile. You can have it with pasta or you can have it with vegetables. So the cashew cream, which probably will make later on in the week as well, with another dish, is very, very versatile. So once you've got it, you can do it with several other dishes as well. So I think that's all we've done so far. I've been a bit late with thorough with doing the other one. So if we don't get a chance to do this, I'll show you the brownie, the cake. We don't finish it all together. So what I've done is, now this is not for every day. It's a special treat for special occasions with this because it does contain sugar and also a little bit of fat as well. So this is not an everyday meal or part of a meal anyway. It's a special treat for special occasions, and it is, let me just find it. I put all my recipes on my phone, so just bear with me. It's a moist carob cake. As I look into my phone, there we go. Any other questions in the chat at all that I can deal with before? And then sorry about this. There it is. Written out before. Right, moist carob cake. So what we have is, let me get the carob first. So we have the carob, main ingredient. This is the one I use, the brand. It's quite a nice, soft, delicate taste, because I know some carobs can be quite bitter sometimes. So I use this one. Bought it from Whole Foods online, organic carob powder. But there's lots on the market. You don't have to go online. If you go into any good health store and even some supermarkets, they sell carob. One just as good as the other. So I've already weighed that out. So I'm just going to put that in there. So this has just got a bit of oats in it, which is fine. So what we do, we put the dry ingredients in first. So I've got the carob here. Be careful it doesn't spill in. I've done that before when I was demonstrating something with, I think it was, of all things, charcoal. And I opened the container, went all over my face. It was an entertaining evening for that demonstration. But people did feel sorry for me with charcoal over my face and my eyes. It was a good cleansing moment. So I'm always careful now with powders because I tend to get them all over myself. So we've got the carob there. It does actually smell a little bit like chocolate. That's for those long chocolate lovers. You can have this one. Then, excuse me, I'm going to add the, sorry, I've forgotten the flour, spelt flour, please. There's a bit left in here. Sometimes some recipes call for white all-purpose flour, but sometimes I mix it up a little bit and just say, you know what, I know there's a better flour that's a better option of flour. No, not the teff flour, the spelt flour, sorry. Spelt, yeah, it's the brown packet. So while we're waiting, so we're going to add the dry ingredients first. Also, I've got some vanilla. This is the vanilla powder. One of my good friends got this for me. I'm going to try and source some more because there's not a lot left. I'm not happy. So, good friend, if you're on, some more vanilla powder. Again, just go online and troll and see if that's available. Yeah, so it's the there. So just a teaspoon, which is in my here. Put one down there. There we are. Carob, sorry, it was 1/3 of a cup. I think. Let me just check. There we go. Roughly. Or half, might be half, sorry. Let me just check. Pop some in here with my spoon. Yeah, about 1/3. Yeah, or half, sorry. Some recipes say to add a coffee and chicory substitute, the brown packet. Did it with the pastry. So that's fine. If you can't find it, I'll go and get it. So yeah, about half a cup. Yeah, that's no. Yes, we'll have that then. Thank you. No, it's not that one. She's got the wrong flour. Just bear with me. It went in with another recipe. Sorry. There it is. Excuse me. Thank you. Sorry, it went in by mistake with the other one. So again, this is 1.5 cups. So I'm going to do 3 of these. This is the half. 1, 2, 3. That's 1.5. There we go. Just level it out. And I'm going to mix that in because I want it to be incorporated really well. There we go. So sometimes if you can just make one change to a recipe that you've seen that you fancy, choose a healthier ingredient. So I sometimes choose an option for a healthier flour. Okay. Done. That's that incorporated. Sometimes with the carob, sometimes it clumps together. So sometimes you might have to sieve it, but that's fine there. You can see little lumps in there. Okay. So then we have some sugar. Oh, my sugar's not coming. Let's move. Oh, did it? No. There we go. So I'm just going to put a cup of sugar. Can I get my scissors? Yep. There we go. So I'm just using a light brown caster sugar. You can use the dark brown sugar if you'd like to, but I'm just going to use a light one. But this, as I said, is not a recipe, whoopsie daisy, that you'd have every day. There we go. There we go. And I try and be sparing. There's a guesstimate again. There we go. Let's pop it in there. Again, mixing. Well, because it needs to be a dry one, so you can have date sugar. I've seen that.
Like coconut sugar.
Coconut sugar, yeah, that's fine. You can try that. That's readily available as well. So yeah, just substitute for a healthier option. Said, there we go. That's mixed in really well. And then we have salt. I've left it here. The flour. Spelt flour. Here you are. Got it there? Yep. Put that there. And then we have some oil. I've just used a vegetable oil here, and it is, oh no, it's not going in yet. We put the dry ingredients first, sorry. So I've got the carob powder, flour, and baking powder, that was it. A little baking powder, which is going to be a teaspoon. Just putting a little bit in. There we go. Measured it out before. And then we have salt, which I think Angie's going to get for me. And then that's the wet ingredients all together. So I've got my oil here, and in here I've incorporated some lemon juice in the oil, which is 4 tablespoons of olive oil, or of vegetable oil rather, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. I've put the vanilla in here, and some coconut milk. So pop this in here and mix together. I'm going to shake it together. Make sure it's sealed properly. So everything's in there. So I don't have to. And it's the same coconut milk we had yesterday as well. I just had some saved. I'm holding it tightly so we don't get spills. There we go. So it's nicely mixed in together. So let me move these out of the way, because we need that, we need that, we need that, we don't need that. Don't need that. Put them over there. Something in the oven. And then mix. Before we add the liquid to here, because we want to don't put it too in, I'm going to just line my dish. So what I sometimes do, just a quick tip, if you just get your roughly the size of your dish, your greaseproof paper, just squeeze it in. I know it looks a bit rough, but what you do is you have an imprint of your corners of your dish. So what I then do is just roughly where the corners of the dish has made a corner, pop it in there and cut diagonally into that corner. And then you get a really nice, good fit because the corners will overlap themselves in the dish. So roughly put it back where it was. And all you have to do is just trim the edges because it sits nicely folded in. So just trim the edge here. And there you go, like that, so it sits in. I don't bother greasing it because it tends to come out fine without having any grease. So if anybody just add some more grease to it, so oil. So pop this in here. And pour in. That's the coconut milk, the oil, the lemon juice. There we go. Mix it in. It's quite a thick mixture. There we go. And then in the dish to bake on 170 for about 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes, just depending on your oven. Obviously, you know your oven temperature. And it smells nice already. So very quick, very easy. So the wet, you get your dry ingredients all weighed out and it comes together. So there we go, that goes into an oven in there, and 35 minutes later this appears. So a moist carob cake. So I'll show you. There we go, nice and moist. I think one of the techies are licking his lips already. That's fine. As I say, it's a special treat, not for every day. Okay, so bear that in mind. So we've got some healthy options, heavy ingredients in there, but not all of them are as healthy as they could. But as I said, you can swap and change with some of the ingredients. So I think we're going to leave the other recipe for tomorrow. It was going to be an apple crisp, but we're going to do that because that could be done as a dessert or for breakfast. But the options I've given you, you've got a breakfast option with the granola. You also had the quiche as a lunch or dinner option. And you've also got this as a dessert on a special occasion, not for everyday wear. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Thank you very much. And apologies for my phone or the disjointedness for just getting the ingredients as well. So, but I think you've got the gist of things and the recipes will be coming, as we say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. I'm looking forward to trying the carob cake. Like I said, I'm sorry for those that don't live in Manchester, but I will come back and tell you tomorrow what the carob cake tasted like and what the quiche tasted like. We want to just apologize for the quality of today's program. We are working in a small environment. We're trying to do our best. We're sorry for some of the sound, the vision. Here's what I want you to do for me. You can see the email going across the bottom of the screen, healthycommunities21@gmail.com. If you've got any suggestions about how we can make this particular program this week, the cooking class, better, that will make the stream better, that will make your experience of learning how to cook healthy plant-based dinners, I just want you to send us an email. Send us an email and let us know, and we'll try and work on what we can work on. I appreciate your patience. We appreciate your patience. We appreciate that you're still here. 45 people are still here with all the troubles that we're having. Yeah, pray for us. Pray for us. We're working on a budget. But I can tell you that the food does look good. It does taste good. And hopefully we can iron out all of the problems that we've had tonight. So without more to be said, let me say a word of prayer. Thank you so much again for coming. Those that have come for the first time, please do come back again. Those that have come for the second time, please do come back again. And those that have come from last week, continue to be with us, because we will change your lives in an hour and a half and for the rest of this program. So let's just bow our heads. Father in heaven, we thank you so much for what you've done for us. We thank you for the food that we have learned how to prepare. I pray, Father, it's not just food, but our food should be our medicine, and our medicine should be our food. So please, I pray that you will help us to learn more and more about how we can better take care of the bodies that you've given to us. Bless everyone that's here and the families that they represent. Take us all home safely, give us a good night, and bring us back tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. British Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you.